What experiences have you had that made you believe in the supernatural, God, demons? I've had many that I can't rationalize, no matter how I spin it. Only 3. All 3 are things I've seen and interacted with, ghost stuff. For example, seeing a fully physical arm right next to me, coming out of a space that can't physically contain a body, and then the hand dragging an object. And no, I've never had mental issues or was trying to sleep or waking up. I would have rationalized it that way if that was the case. The things I can't rationalize have happened to me while fully awake doing something. I've had a demon attachment. I actually saw it once and it talked to me. One day, when I was 11, I felt like my body was taken over by another being, but only partially. I could move my hands, and it could move my hands. First, I let it draw what I thought were random scribbles on a piece of paper, and then I decided to communicate by writing something on paper, and then letting it take control to reply. First, I asked it who it was, and it said, "I am Silas." Assuming it meant the Silas from Transformers Prime, I said, "But Silas died." And it said something like, "I am alive," or "but I survived." And then it told me to get a battleship board and put random pieces on it, and each red would be a bad day, and each white a good day. And then once I was done with the battleship thing, it left. I only assumed it was Transformers Prime Silas. It never actually confirmed or denied that. So now, I think it was some kind of entity calling itself Silas, not the Silas I thought it was. I've suffered from sleep paralysis for as long as I can remember. It has held me back in every way in life, and nothing I've tried has ever truly fixed it. Recently, I mentioned this to a woman I work with, and she gave me the weirdest piece of advice I've ever received. She said when she sees her demon, she roasts him. Verbatim, I called him a bitch and he went away. It had a certain logic. Using humor to reframe works in a lot of situations. I was a little intrigued, and honestly I've tried literally everything else. So last night, when the Hatman appeared in the corner of my room, I cast around in my mind for ridiculous things to say, and I remembered that meme that's like, "The Hatman owes me money," but at this point, I feel like it's the other way around. So when I could finally talk, I shouted into my room, "You owe me money," and woke myself up. That was about 5 hours ago, and I just got a Venmo notification that my ex-boyfriend finally sent me a fairly substantial amount of money I had loaned him, and had given up on ever seeing again, since the dude is a deadbeat. I'm pleased, of course, but do you guys think I've entered some kind of deal here? I don't know how I feel about the Hatman negotiating deals for me. There is a small black kitten following me everywhere I go. It follows me no matter where I am in the world. I can be in Taiwan, and the cat will be sitting in some alleyway while I drive by it. I can be at university in California, and the kitten is just running around on the street having fun. What's up with this? Any explanation? I only have my Taiwanese mother's explanation. That black kitten equals cute girl in the Taiwanese language. Have you ever met a truly evil person? I don't just mean someone who's nasty or unlikable. I mean a person whose cruelty goes beyond merely serving themselves, and steps into a realm of pure malice. Evil for the sake of being evil. Why were they like that? Perhaps they were crazy. Or perhaps they serve an even darker power. Only once, guy who dated one of my friends in high school. Would beat her, and brag about it on the internet. I barely saw him in person, but there was always that weird disconnect feeling where it's clear he wasn't taking the interaction at face value, if that makes sense. Like when you're talking to a doctor or salesman or something, and you're being earnest but they're just running through a script, except with this lingering potential for violence. He was playing by a different set of rules and he knew it. Later, I heard he kidnapped a woman and stuffed her in the trunk of his car, but she got away. He was never charged. Couple years later, he wraps his car around a tree driving drunk alone at midnight. I was glad to hear it. I've seen a lot of evil and violence since then, but it's always been out of anger, desperation, or just doing my job abuses from people in power. This guy was totally cold-hearted, nothing behind his eyes. He was terrifying. But it's heartening how few actually psychopathic people there are out there. The just doing my job types are the scariest, I think. I'm an EMT and interact with a lot of cops and border patrol, Politics aside, a lot of evil comes out of regular good-hearted when you give them weapons and tell them they're in charge. Be me, late October 2016. Own completely black contact lenses for weeb reasons. Midnight. Be wide awake and not tired at all. Decide to take a walk. Thinking about the news of the random clown sightings. Get a stupid idea and decide to go through with it. Since I live alone and no one can stop me, put on the contact lenses and white face paint. Not any kind of full-blown clown makeup, but just enough to look creepy. Obviously unnatural in poor light. Take a long walk around the city streets, vibing through the dark night air and stark light of street lamps. Not many people around. See like 7 people altogether. Pass them by like I normally would, but flash a wide grin to the ones who accidentally make eye contact. Get back home around 2. Take contacts off and take a shower. And forget all about this incident. Be now, Halloween 2022. COVID has calmed down where I live. Sit at a party with people talking about returning to normal life. For some reason, the 2016 clown sightings are brought up, although there were none in the town we live in. The new girlfriend of a guy I don't really know suddenly remembers something her friend told her. She tells how her friend swears up and down that she saw a man around that time, but who she swears wasn't human. But the girl telling the story thinks it was probably just some guy in a costume, unnaturally pale with something strange and unsettling about his eyes. She could not say what, but human eyes don't look like that. And that thing had grinned at her with disgusting, brown-yellow teeth. F it, I'll go. Background. Be 23-year-old Southerner, depressed, existentially miserable, often suicidal, but still kicking. Raised Christian, but totally atheist. Material universe is all. Also, well-practiced lucid dreamer, like good at it. Can fly, teleport, summon people and objects, disintegrate dream characters with a thought, surf rooftops down the street, punch bears with Richard Nixon, escape my own crucifixion, make the most volatile explosive in the world, all kinds of stuff. Be me. Wake up in bed. Check phone. The time is 1:20. Check it again. It's now 3:50. I'm dreaming. Get out of bed. Walk to bookshelf. Observe. The titles go all wonky, like a broken digital clock. Glitching out, normal for dreams. Your subconscious is bad at many things, but especially linear time and written text. Later, I thought about the number of times I've started a dream in the same place my physical body is sleeping. I can count it on one hand. I've heard in some cultures this might be a sign of being approached. Look out the window. Sky is the same burnt, hellish, orange color that my lucid sky always has. Like sunset, but it's false light. Settled into dream body, begin walking to bedroom door. Using door as loading screen, anywhere I want to go is the other side of that door. Want to go to hotel? I have a dream hotel that has lots of doors and characters, and is in general really swanky. Hotel lobby clearly in my mind. I'm going there. Open door, I'm in my living room. Everything is oddly normal. Looks like real life. Mild confusion. Must have not concentrated right, even though I had it pretty right. Walk through house to the front door. Still thinking hotel, extra double focused now. Open door. It's my neighborhood. Confused. Figure I can't teleport for some reason. Guess I'll fly, and see what my subconscious will make out of it. Can't fly now either. Can levitate, maybe 6 inches off the ground. Every time I start moving, I stumble to the ground when I move faster than a walk. It's deserted. My dreams always have characters, there's no one. Neighborhood looks real, as I'm flow tripping down to the end of the street. It's AT intersection. Get to it, mildly frustrated. Look left, look right. There's a person, blurry. Like they're farther away than they are. Out of place with the surroundings. Heads towards them. Get closer. Stumble final time. Can't even float. Person coming into clear view. It's a woman. Blonde. About my height. Black shirt, blue skirt. Still looks distorted. Can't make out features beyond color. Walk closer. Sky turns blue. That's a first. Either I'm asleep and not noting the strangeness of the sky, or I'm lucid and it's burnt hell orange. Less mild confusion, but I can see her now. And I've got my tactical panchitting priorities pretty well in hand. She looks exactly like me, but female. Blonde hair, blue eyes, my height, black t-shirt with a star on it, like a pentagram, but too many points, etched in purple. Something's off looking at her, like there's something standing behind her. It's like I'm walking to a sheer mountainside, not a person. She's blurry and too angular at the same time. Despite looking physically like a human, I'm frustrated by this point, powerless, wondering what the F my brain is doing. You called, here I am. New accent, never heard that. Can't describe it. Stress on the wrong syllable, but clear and commanding. Feel an invasion in my head as she says this. Feels like she just scanned my brain, like a dictionary, and pulled the words she wanted. I can make dream characters say what I want. They say what I expect them to say. This wasn't that. I didn't call anyone. What do you mean? She repeats herself, no invasion. I didn't summon anything. I was trying to go somewhere. I'm not from around here. New words, same pulling feeling. What's that supposed to mean? She repeats herself. Get what she's saying. Oh, you're not from my head. You are from my head. You're me, and you know damn well we don't believe in any of that. In hindsight, I really should have automatically woken up. Talking to the dream about the fact that it's a dream usually makes it unstable. At least makes it start changing. She's still saying she isn't from around here. She's from somewhere else. Prove it then. Prove you're not me. I know you can't. You aren't ready. This is just a form. I'm not ready for, huh? Let me guess. I'd go mad from the revelation. You're actually a humanoid abomination. And your very existence is things man was not meant to know. Right, she smirks. You have it exactly. I was feeling strange. She was putting off an aura of pure threat. Like an animal that could kill you by accident if it moves carelessly. She's also completely irresistible, despite putting off the strongest uncanny valley I've ever seen. I keep demanding that she proves it, while trying to make her face change. Make her disappear, burst into flames. Make her say what I want. Anything I can usually do. That won't work. I'm not from around here. I tell her I don't believe her, and that if my subconscious has a message for me, it needs to just say it. What's your judgment take on humanity? This throws me way off. My dream characters don't talk about abstracts. Humanity, that's a weighted subject. I tell her what I think. She smirks again. No humor in it. Sharp, alluring, pitiless. What do you think of casualty? I tell her I could get a lot more done without it, but that it makes sense why it's a law, since people couldn't function without it. Now she giggles. I go back to demanding proof, but she changes the topic and asks a question every time. Asks about my thoughts on history, about who I loved and what happened with them. My ideal society, how I feel about death, destruction, war. I have never had a dream conversation like this. She's saying less than me but meaning more. She's enticing, and I can't help but enjoy it. I can't help but feel like maybe she is something else. I demand proof a final time. She says she needs something from me first. Shoot, I know you're not real. What could you want? She searches my language again. Worse than before. Like she went through everything. Antichrist, that's not what it is. Of course, but it's the closest word you have. I realize what she's asking, and I am now convinced that all this was just an overly elaborate, creepy wet dream scenario. I make it clear she has to prove herself if I give her what she wants. But we have to do it in a specific place. Okay, we move, the scene shifts. What I tried to do at the start of the dream, she does effortlessly. Vague sinking feeling that this wasn't my dream to start with. We're in the backyard of my childhood home. My first nightmare was in that dream space. 2 years old, whole family eaten by alligators at my birthday party, while a clown saved me from them. 2 years old, my first nightmare, my first clear memory. My own subconscious has never taken me back there. Never. I know she's telling the truth. She smiles and lays down in the grass. I'm scared, but I know I can't back out. It was like having sex with the concept of having sex. It's awesome. I'm getting feedback off of her. Finish. I know I finished. I felt it. Clearly. I get up. She sits up, smiling for real for the first time. Now see me, and see what you have guaranteed for them. The veil drops. Everything is gone in an instant. What I felt behind her, it wasn't a feeling. It's here, and it's her without the glamour. I'm engulfed by it in literally no time. Feels like my brain stem is cut. Like I must fall to my knees. I have no knees to fall to or ground to put them on. Bigger than the night sky you look up at, and bigger than any concept of big you have. Bigger than the universe, easily. And that's bigger than we can really grasp already. Big in dimensions that don't exist, full spectrum and anti-spectrum large. Agony seeing it. Needless to say, it wouldn't fit in my brain. And my subconscious couldn't think that up. It's loud in every sense of the word. Every sense I have, and a lot that I never had before. This thing is broadcasting at it. Not making the noise, just as the noise. It feels old, feels like time is nothing to it. For that moment, I am it, or rather an infinitely minuscule thought in its mind. Time isn't a thing for it. Time is just for us. It feels different. There's nothing human or material in its pattern. It's indescribable, utterly. It just is. Not good or evil, not by our definition. Would an ant be able to judge the boot that crushed it? It's like staring into an eternal, infinitely scaled, nuclear explosion, and just taking it to the face, forever. You're here until I let you go. It tells me in pure meaning, not a language. Eternity is just a moment. Linear time makes our lives more structured than you can possibly imagine. It has a color. It's every color, but there's something that them all mixing creates. I'll call it light dark purple. It's not purple, but it's the closest color we have. I'm screaming, or would, but I'm just a thought being ruminated by what at this point I acknowledge as either a god or God. No frame of reference for that. It lets me go. I rocket up in my bed, gasping for air like a newborn baby. My pulse racing, in cold sweat. And no jizz in my pants, she actually took it. Eldritch abomination is the first words out of my mouth, like that's what Lovecraft meant. Thoughts racing, was that the whore of Babylon, or what the hell was that? Nobody wants a psychotic break before breakfast. Must have been sleep paralysis or night terrors. I've had both. I know damn well it wasn't that. Repress the dream for 6 months, until something happens that forces me to look at it, and accept that I met something. And then I started digging, and found who I met. As soon as I read the first thing about her, I knew who she was. The mythology matched her actual attitude. I could go on from here. She connects everything. She's been with us since prehistory. She's been in the background of Western civilization's development, at every crucial junction. Her symbolism matches Jesus. Holy Spirit, Mother, I know what I met, and I'm here to see what I guaranteed to us. I'll suffer it with y'all. Be me. Literally one day ago. Midnight. Bladder is full. Go for a piss. Everywhere is silent. Suddenly had this eerie feeling. I don't know how to describe it. Some kind of gut feeling that tells you something is off. Get goosebumps. Try not to mind it. Think to myself it's just my brain doing a little trolling. A really low-pitched hissing sound, in a deep male voice. Literally heard it as if someone was right behind my ears. Literally rush out of bathroom mid-urinating to turn on all the lights in the home. Couldn't sleep till morning. Hey, what is your most memorable experience with the paranormal? I'll start. So this happened like 2 years ago. I was home alone, as my sisters and dad went to a mall, a couple hours away from our house. When they were about 10 to 15 minutes away, my dad called me. He asked if I could prepare him a couple of sandwiches, as he was leaving for work as soon as he comes from the mall. Before I continue the story, I'll give some background on the house. When you come to the kitchen, there is this countertop at the end of the kitchen. And when you look to the right from the countertop is this door that leads to this small room, which has 2 sets of stairs. The first set is on the right as you enter, and it leads to the basement. And the second one is at the back of the room. But before the stairs on the left is a door that leads outside, which in winter was rarely used. The second set leads to the attic. Back to the story. As I was preparing the sandwiches, I distinctly hear opening and closing of the door that leads to the outside, and someone kicking their boots to clear the snow off them. I just nope out of there as fast as I could, and immediately call my dad, and they rush home. As soon as he gets home, we do a full sweep of the house, but nothing. We all just laugh it off, and continue with our night. Eventually I go to sleep, and wake up in the morning to my dad a bit mad, asking me why the door leading to the outside is open. And I was a bit confused, as we never opened the door while sweeping our house. So yeah, I don't know what I countered that night, nor know what, or who, opened the door. Have you ever watched a movie so disturbing that it felt like you shouldn't be watching it? I'm not talking about just horror films. Is there any films you have watched that had a cursed energy or negative feel to it? One time I watched a movie about exorcism, and I think it was maybe cursed because it made me so horny when the demon was possessing the woman. It screamed lust, and in a twisted way. I was hooked. I knew it was messed up, but somehow that intense lust had gotten over me. If Satan and demons exists, they must be way more lustful than us. They are the personification of lust. And if you ever get yourself in that situation, where you see lust manifesting before your very eyes, that is hard to describe. You are aware that it is twisted, but somehow, maybe because it is twisted, it's a great feeling. I don't know. I have never really believed in cursed films. Most are just created solely for promotion. But I legitimately believe the Terrifier franchise has negative energy, and Damien Leone is in on some esoteric stuff. Sounds stupid that some stupid fetish indie movie would be cursed, but hear me out. The Ninth Circle, 2008. Art is more of a side character in this one, but still has some of his characteristics that pop up in later films. He pops up in an empty office where a girl is sitting, and offers her a red rose, which is linked to sacrifice in Christianity, and the divine feminine in a cult context. She realizes the rose has some sort of insect in it and attempts to run off. Art grabs her arm and injects her with a syringe, his eyes now glowing a yellow hue as she lays one last look at him. She wakes up in a dingy basement chained up. She walks through the derelict area until she sees a coven of witches cutting the baby out of a pregnant woman. Being born through unnatural means, she eventually ends up getting our words by Satan. I legitimately believe Damien conjured a demon up to create this short and the character of Art. I am pretty sure that Hereditary by Ari Aster has something truly malefic in it. I left the cinema with the feeling that something very wrong had happened. Midsommar, by the same guy, also has pretty cursed vibes. In Catholic theology, demons cannot possess or oppress a person unless there's some kind of invitation or permission, even if it's unintentional. Watching a horror movie that glorifies evil, mocks God, or explicitly depicts demonic rituals can be seen as consent by exposure. You are not possessed by watching, but you may become spiritually vulnerable or influenced, especially if your faith life is weak. There's horror movies that are charged with demonic energy. The worst are channeled ones, where the script or ideas for the movie are channeled from a demon. The spirit realm operates on law. Demons will barge in when you do something that gives them a legal right, like watching a charged horror movie, or playing with a Ouija board, even if you didn't mean to. A man, very far away, turned around to face me. The more he squinted to see me, the more else sensed he was me in the future. He just wanted to see me as a kid. I stood perfectly still so he could do so. Then he walked away. Okay, so in about 06 or 07, if I remember correctly, I was lurking like a lot of you guys, and I found a thread that disgusted me. Someone posted a thread about him having bought a Neon Genesis Evangelion tape. Upon further inspection, it turned out the tape had a real snuff film taped over the middle of the episode. The pictures he included were awful. My memory on this is a bit fuzzy, but I seem to remember a screenshot of a woman with a huge gash in her neck, like a close-up. Anyways, back then I saved the link, but when I tried to go back and check it, the thread was deleted. I can't find anything in the archives, and of course my dumb self didn't screenshot it. Anybody knows anything about this, or have any leads on this at all? And no, this isn't some stupid creepypasta stuff. I'm trying to find something on this, but there's literally nothing. Maybe some of you N's saw the post. How do I make my own world? Do I have to wait until the afterlife/heaven? I need to make my own world to live in, with all my friends, real and fictional. How? It is possible, and the people within that world wouldn't be fictional either. The same way that people with DID have multiple real personalities, tulpas too. They would be fractions of your consciousness. The same way you are a fraction of the wider collective unconsciousness, or the absolute, as described in this document. As to how, I would first recommend not doing it, because it would be a waste of time, more often than it would actually work. But if you are dedicated, then I guess you could do a bunch of extreme meditation and lucid dreaming tulpa stuff. It is possible, but only for level 10,000 Buddhist monk people. If it was easy, then everybody would do it, but it's not, so it's fringe and whatnot. So in short, you're probably not going to be able to, because you're not the main character. But if you want to give it a try, be my guest. Yeah, I guess that would be a good place to start. What I would recommend focusing on is lucid dreaming, tulpas, and meditation. Do the type of stuff that'll get you more in control of your own mind. But be aware, this is also a fast track into mental illness. There have been fringe cases where the tulpas or alternate personality within a person's psyche becomes more powerful than the original psyche, effectively replacing them as a person. Psyches are weird and not really understood all that well, but it's not a sharply divided personality and personality B type thing. Think of your consciousness like a fluid ever-changing. You when you were 5 years old, and you now, are completely different psyches. Current you has roots in old you, but old you is essentially dead. It transformed and matured over time to become current you. Same thing with the tulpas and alternate personalities. It's a fraction of your psyche, a division created with enough focused thought power. But since you are the original psyche and the one thinking it up, you are the original, and its life depends on you maintaining that division. Psyches are portions of the self, which is in turn portions of the wider monad. Keep in mind, though, that no matter how real it may feel, it is still all in your head. I'm Hannah Holder and am telling you guys, the reason they want to destroy me isn't because I told secrets. The person that took over my body and put me in a dream state told the secrets and made me think it was me. She's been planning this since before I was born, with the powers that be. That's why so many big people have surrounded me my whole life. I have been made into a sacrificial lamb. They're using the things I said as a reason to make me suffer forever, and to make my soul scream like the lady on Tower Green. Can anyone see that I don't deserve it? It's a ploy, a plot, and the lady in charge of my body is writing this to show me nobody cares, and that it's every man, woman, and child to their own self be true, and no one will save me. But it's not fair. I'm trapped in my own mind. I can't even make thoughts. It's just awareness. I'm a prisoner. I didn't even tell the secrets. She just made me think I did, but even if I did, I can't think. She took that ability from me and couldn't ration what to do, but I didn't even do it. Someone help me, please, before they destroy me over and over, and send me to the hell that they've created. Please, I want to be a hair cutter. I want to be an artist. I want to finish cosmetology school, and take the barbering program, and go to art school, and get custody of my kids, and stop this insane belief in imaginary voices that want to destroy me. I want a future, and I have a plan to achieve happiness. I'm going to make art. I don't want to die forever. I want to live for eternity with everyone else. I have a vision and a future, please help me. I thought the god of the Fae was the god of fairies, and I believed I would go to fairyland. That's what they told me. They told me that I was just going to get a big scare, when I thought it was God and angels. If someone can help me get my mom out of my brain, hello everyone, you'll see that my mouth is totally and completely shut. I know how to conform. She won't let me look at how normal I used to look. She ruined me. I took mushrooms, and now I'm in a never-ending trip, where I am possessed by a demon. It's not a trip, it's real. He talks in my head, and talks through my mouth with my voice, and puts me in loops, where I have no free will. I'm on medication. It's not taking the voices/possession away. It seems as if God is evil. I've even seen Jesus, and he cannot help me. He's letting me make this post, so I would like the prayers and advice of this forum. I'm currently going to a priest anyway. If any of you can do deliverance over the internet, please help. Thoughts and prayers accepted. I really messed up. Help.